Welcome to Fishing with Tom Richards. Brought to you by Zach's Furniture Showroom. Always quality furniture, always the lowest price.
Hello everybody. I sure do appreciate you tuning in tonight. We're up in the river, way up in the river on a lake that holds stripers, and we're going to be fishing to start with live bait, and we may do a couple other things as the show goes on. But we've moved up here. It's in a hot part of summer, and when the water temperatures on your lake begin to heat up, if you have tributaries coming in that have cool water in them, that's where you want to go, because once the water temperatures get upwards in around 80 degrees, the fish are going to go to seeking out cooler water. Well, the tributary we're in right now just happens to run at about 54 degrees. So it's excellent habitat for these striper during summer. Now we're going to be fishing with thread fin and gizzard shad. But I want to show you something before we get started fishing, a little trick that I pull every now and then, and it not only holds fish around the boat, but sometimes will draw them up on the surface breaking, and that is to cripple the shad and to throw it out on the surface. But let me show you what I mean instead of telling you about it. Okay, now we got two thread fin and two gizzards. The bigger one is the gizzard, and there's what they look like. Now there's a variety of ways of injuring these fish. One, I like to take and just break their back by bending his back over, overextending it, and then just pitch him out on the surface. And you can see that puts some wild action on them. And that method works pretty good. They're slimy and they're hard to hold. There's another one. You got to be careful sometimes of damaging them too much, but when I'm in a hurry, being how these things is all slimy and everything, instead of bending it over, a lot of times I just take and stick it in there and bite him like that right there. Be sure and spit the scales out though. And you can see what good action that puts on them baits. Come here, little buddy. Ooh, I beat him in half. Well, I bit that in just a little bit too much, sort of kill him, but you get the general idea. Now we'll let those drift down just a little bit. There's a slight bit of current. Now what I'm going to do is rig up a couple of those baits and throw them out, set the rod in a rod holder, and wait and see if a striper don't come along looking for dinner, because we're after them. Okay, now we want to get our bait hooked up. There's a couple of three different methods you can use. One, I normally put the hook through the fish's nose when you're moving the boat around, but we're anchored down, and I found they swim better if you just hook them through the back, just like that. And I don't have any weight on this thing so that the bait will stay up shallow. Now I want you to look what action on that shad. And he'll do that. Once I pitch him out, he'll still do the same thing. And if that don't draw a striper up, that just means there's not any anywhere around here. Of course, we're going to cast it out about 40 feet away from the boat. Now another thing, I set these drags real light. That way, when a fish picks it up, he doesn't feel the resistance from the rod and drop it. Now I'll bait another one up and we'll get started fishing. This one, I'm leaving a float on it. That'll keep my bait up shallow. The first one didn't have anything on it. If he wants to, he can go down deep. This one's gonna have to stay up shallow because of the float. And we'll hook him the same way. Just up in the back. Hook him shallow so we don't do much damage to him. Close this bait tank. And we'll pitch him out the other side of the boat. Just like that. Loosen that drag up. And then we move back here and set these two rods in a rod holder. And sit back and wait for something to bite. Screek. You want to put some WD-40 on that because it can hurt you up here in this shallow water. We're only in about 6, 7 foot of water, and that can hurt. I wished I'd have thought and put a little WD-40 on that. And now, all we do is just sit and wait for the fish to come to us. Let's hope it works. Well, you know, it's fishing season again, and M&M Sporting Goods has everything I need when it comes to fishing tackle. Whether it's rods and reels from Daiwa, or tackle like Lure Jensen's Hot Lips Express, or their new Deep Secret, and of course the Crippled Herring Spoon, or maybe Storm's Chug Bug. Hey, what about the Excalibur series of lures from Heddon, and every lure that Team Daiwa makes? You know, it doesn't matter what I need, M&M Sporting Goods has the best selection around. So for whatever you need, be sure and go by M&M Sporting Goods in Kingsport.
Furnishing your home is an investment that deserves careful consideration. That's why Zach's Furniture offers you only the most respected, time-tested manufacturers in the industry. Thomasville, Broyhill, Drexel, Berkline, and a whole lot more, with certified experienced home furnishing consultants and designers on staff to help you with this important decision. Never pushy, always helpful, with your needs in mind. Let Zach's help add a great new look to your home. Zach's Furniture in Boones Creek, Bristol, and downtown Kingsport.
If it wasn't for Walmart, probably half of this plant wouldn't be here.
I would think it pretty much keeps our little town alive.
I see them hanging on the rack in the stores. I think, hey, I helped make that.
Walmart's challenge was make goods in the USA.
That's what we're doing. I feel we can compete with anyone, anywhere.
Why not make it here and bring the work back to the people?
It means jobs for America, jobs for everybody. Good for America, good for Oklahoma, good for Walmart, good for all of us.
Who's behind the best family food value in town? Perkins. For breakfast, dinner, and everything in between. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
Chug-a-bug, chug-a-bug, makes you wanna holler hi-de-ho. Take the big fish, don't you know? Chug-a-bug, 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 chug-a-bug. Man, I love you so, you make me holler, here we go. Chug-a-bug, chug-a-bug.
For a special Storm Lures offer,
Howdy-ho!
call 1-800-4-CHUG-BUG.
The #1 and #2 mattress manufacturers in America, Sealy Posturepedic and Simmons Beauty Rest, are now reduced to an all-time low at Zach's Furniture for a limited time. You'll find Sealy Posturepedic and Simmons Beauty Rest queen-size sets reduced to an incredible $299 for the complete set. You heard it right. Queen-size Posturepedic or Beauty Rest complete sets, only $299 for a limited time at Zach's. Zach's Furniture in Boones Creek, Bristol, and downtown Kingsport.
There he is. Whoa! little overhook set. Tighten drag up a little bit, Richard. Yeah, run, little buddy. Now we're fishing these lines. It's super clear water. We're fishing with 6-pound test line. So you got to be careful not to put too much pressure on this light line. There he is up on the surface right there. Come here, little buddy. I hit him up for a second. Uh-oh. Man, he's going the other way. Come on now. Tighten it up some more. He's running too far on me. Ooh, he's taking off down that way now. Now he turned back that way. Come here, fish. Oh, he's a pretty thing. Let's see if I can't get him over here now. Now, see if I can't get him over to me. Hey, big boy. Well, that cold water chills them down. Oh, he's a pretty thing. Look at that. Come over here and let me get my finger in your jaw. Hold still now. Find my pliers. He stuck him right there in the tongue. Did you like that shad, did you? Ain't that beautiful? And we don't want to keep him a long time. Get him back in here. Work him around just a little bit. And there he goes. And we'll get baited back up. Get him right back out there. Ooh, got that drag tightened down. And again, you want to fish that drag loose, and you can hear that. That's a clicker, letting you know there's line being fed out. It's a good idea to have a rod that has that feature on it. And we get that in the rod holder. And just set down again. I don't know if you can see that minnow out on the surface behind that float. But you can see what I was talking to you about. It's got that thing right up on top, and that's what draws them in, boy. That gets their goat. They can't hardly, if they're around, they can't hardly pass up on that. You know, we've had some pretty good success here, but it's slower than what I would like for it to be. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull anchor up, get these baits in, and I'm gonna move a little further down the river. In fact, we're up in the cold water right now, and there's always gonna be a few fish here. But we'll move down into the warmer water and see if we can't hook some fish down there, because this is a little bit slow. And that's one thing about striper fishing you always want to keep in mind. A striper can move 55 miles in one day if he wants to, maybe even more, but they've tagged them and followed them that far in one day. So these fish have a tremendous ability to moving around. You don't, my dad used to kid me about me not having patience was going to hurt me, but it's actually been an asset on striper fishing, because you can't catch the fish if you're not where they're at. If you pull into a likely looking spot and you fish for a few minutes and you haven't come up with a hit, it's a good idea to pull up anchor and move on and go somewhere else, because these fish move a lot and you've got to move with them. Yeah, we got that in the end. We'll get the anchor up and get out of here. And you'll notice I've got a pretty long anchor rope here. I like to throw the anchor out and then let the current drift the boat back a good 30 feet away from where I threw the anchor at. It holds better that way. Just the leverage of the boat pulling against the anchor. Now, fire up and get out of here. Check it out, check it out, check it out. He's headed to the high country, headed to the high country. We didn't much more than get the boat moved. Picked a new spot. And picked up a hit. Oh, he's still going. Yeah, big boy. He's getting up right around that anchor. Come on back here. Up around that anchor line. He went over top of it. There he is up on top. Where you at, little buddy? That's a hybrid. A hybrid. He's a pretty fish. Pretty fish. Well, and he ain't done yet either. Come here. Come here, buddy. I got him now. If I can bring him over here where I can get him, keep him out of that other rod. Watch him thrashing his head around, making racket. He's a nice little hybrid. Now I'll get my pliers up here. Oh, ain't he pretty? Ain't he pretty? I'll tell you what, little buddy. Thank you, thank you. If you get into your mouth, hook it right in the lip. You always want to be sure and have you a pair of these pliers. Oh, they can save the day. And that's the best way in the world right there to let one go. We get a few up every now and then to show to the camera. But if you can do them that way, they'll live a lot better. Now let's get another bait on. I don't know what I'm doing now, rigging my rod up. Now, get me another bait, get baited back up and get out there. We had moved down. The first fish we caught, we were in about 54-degree temperatures. And you can see the difference it makes in the fish. We moved downstream into about 64, 66-degree temperature water. And you can see the difference in activity level of the fish. That first fish was real lethargic, didn't do a whole lot. Second fish, really active. And then one thing that you'll run into in the hot part of summer, once they get, if the fish that are down in the lake, because you're always going to have a certain number of fish that stay in the lake, those fish are very easily killed. You want to keep that in mind when you're fishing for them. They'll fight themselves out to the last minute, and most of them, when you catch them, especially bigger fish, they don't survive real well. But in this temperature range, man, these fish are extremely active. Now, one other thing has to do with the activeness of the fish. You know, sometimes you catch them and they fight harder than they do other times. We've all probably caught a 15-pound fish and thought it was a 30 and a 30 and thought it was a 10. And another thing that's got a lot to do with that, besides the water temperature, is the pH level. pH level determines the activity of the fish a lot. So you don't want a real high pH level. You can check in your water and they've got meters and all that. I really don't mess with all that stuff, but I can tell sometimes when they get in a high pH where there's a lot of organic waste and stuff burning off, that the fish are more lethargic. Right now, I want to show you some footage we shot here just a couple of weeks ago with an old big strapper. I think you'll really enjoy. Let me get this in the rod holder. All right. Man, alive. That one is doing some pulling. We're going right on down the lake here. Oh man, he's steady going. All you can do at this point is just hold on. And he's quit there for a second. Oh, well, I thought he had. I'm gonna go after this one. He's taking too much line. Put this troll motor on high and go his direction. See if we can't take some line back now. It's my turn. Yeah, that helped. That helped a lot. Now, big boy. Come on now. Man, I'm telling you, it's a heavy fish. He's not throwing his head around a whole lot. You see how I'm fighting this raw fish? Look here, got that rod right up against it. That way, it lets me rest. The rod is doing all the work, the rod and the reel. And that's what you buy them for. Let them fight the fish. Although I have to admit, it's working my arm pretty good. Oh, come on, big boy. He's coming now. We're getting to him. Getting to him. I don't know how much of this we'll end up being able to show you, but this is wearing on. Even fighting it the way I am, my arm's really getting hard. He's right under the boat now, and I'm bringing him up a little at a time. One broke right over there. That's a pretty good fish there. No, I'm gonna tell you, that's a good fish. Come on up, little buddy. Yeah, I've got him now. He's not as, it's just so heavy. These fish this big, and getting into the time of year we're getting into, I'll tell you, these fish have a high mortality rate. So you're gonna pretty much have to just plan on keeping fish this big when you catch it. Because he's gonna be well spent, I guarantee you that. Oh goodness. All right, oh gosh, yeah. This is a real good fish. Real good fish. It's the biggest one I've caught this spring. Get a death grip on this boy. You ain't going nowhere. Oh man, oh man. Look at here, look at here. Get that line and rod out of the way. Look at that. All right, man alive. And you've never caught anything that pulls. Oh man, I'll just tell you, look here, look here. I put him down to the floor, put his tail to the floor. He's above the waist on my short. That's a good fish. I don't know where he'd go, but I'll guarantee you this. He'll push the scales. Better have some of them go well over 30 pounds the way that. Whew. Now, don't go away. And I'm gonna come back and tell you just what we was doing to help you put some fish like that in your boat. We'll be right back.
Furnishing your home is an investment that deserves careful consideration. That's why Zach's Furniture offers you only the most respected, time-tested manufacturers in the industry. Thomasville, Broyhill, Drexel, Berkline, and a whole lot more, with certified experienced home furnishing consultants and designers on staff to help you with this important decision. Never pushy, always helpful, with your needs in mind. Let Zach's help add a great new look to your home. Zach's Furniture in Boones Creek, Bristol, and downtown Kingsport.
Well, you know, it's fishing season again, and M&M Sporting Goods has everything I need when it comes to fishing tackle. Whether it's rods and reels from Daiwa, or tackle like Lure Jensen's Hot Lips Express, or their new Deep Secret, and of course the Crippled Herring Spoon. Or maybe Storm's Chug Bug. Hey, what about the Excalibur series of lures from Hedden? And every lure that Team Daiwa makes. You know, it doesn't matter what I need, M&M Sporting Goods has the best selection around. So for whatever you need, be sure and go buy M&M Sporting Goods in Kingsport.
Doherty Brothers Chevrolet GOG Beagle in Gate City, Virginia, where the people make the difference.
Who's behind the best family food value in town? Perkins. For breakfast, dinner, and everything in between. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
Chug-a-bug, makes you wanna holler hi-de-ho. Take the big fish, don't you know? Chug-a-bug, 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 chug-a-bug. Man, I love you so, you make me holler, here we go. Chug-a-bug, chug-a-bug.
For a special Storm Lures offer,
Howdy-ho!
call 1-800-4-CHUG-BUG.
The #1 and #2 mattress manufacturers in America, Sealy Posturepedic and Simmons Beauty Rest, are now reduced to an all-time low at Zach's Furniture for a limited time. You'll find Sealy Posturepedic and Simmons Beauty Rest queen-size sets reduced to an incredible $299 for the complete set. You heard it right. Queen-size Posturepedic or Beauty Rest complete sets, only $299 for a limited time at Zach's. Zach's Furniture in Boones Creek, Bristol, and downtown Kingsport.
You know, I've had a ball today, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the show, but better yet, I hope you've learned something that you can take out on the water and maybe put some of these striper in your boat. But if there's something that you want to know that I didn't cover at the end of the show, you'll see the address, or better yet, you can give me a call. I'll be pleased to talk with you. If it's that old big red Javelin boat out on the lake someday, I hope you'll stop and say howdy. Hey, till I meet you out on the water, good luck and good fishing.
Fishing with Tom Richards is a Harris Television production.